2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us.
How do I know I'm working recovery for the right reasons?
Welcome to the Real Talk Recovery Podcast with the Therapy Brothers.
We're brothers, we're therapists, and we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Brannon, got a good guest coming on today. But before we do that, I just want to know what's going on. You showed up today looking like you basically had a full-on afro.
That's exactly what I have. What's wrong with it? You got a problem?
I couldn't tell if you were like trying to look like those cavemen on the Geico commercials or.
So
I wish we still had video going out to all of our podcast places so people could see you. But then you held up that little thing and it was a painting board. So you're dressed like Bob Ross today.
It's Halloween.
We're recording on Halloween. When this goes out, this is going to be like just a normal day for everybody else. So, and our poor caller today gets to talk to Bob Ross.
Hey, Bob Ross was very inviting. He's very safe and easy to talk to.
Like you said, at least it's relaxing. It's going to definitely be like peaceful today.
Yeah, in fact, this is a net positive for him.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, you made my day, so thanks, Brannon.
Yes.
It was great. Good way to start my day. So,
well, you can thank my wife for crimping my hair for the last half an hour.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, should we get into it, Brannon?
Let's do it.
All right. Brad, welcome to the show, man. We're glad you're here with us.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, just give us some background and ask your question. We'll get started.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't have the hair that Brannon does. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll just give you a little bit of background, and then if it's not enough, you can ask me more questions. I can fill in holes where needed. But basically, so I've struggled with sex addiction, porn addiction for most of my life, growing up through my teen years. Went and served an LDS mission. Actually had some anxiety issues and depression issues while I was on the mission. Came home early. Went into some therapy at that time. didn't end up sticking with it for real long, probably about a few months. Fast forward a few more years, got married, have kids now. Obviously the addiction has never gone away. And in the last little while, probably about the time that COVID started, the isolation started, I changed jobs, came to a new position, and just the new position was super stressful. The individual that I replaced had actually passed away, and I was kind of learning everything from scratch and working for two different entities at a time. I actually worked for school districts, working for two different school districts, and just super stressful. A lot of pressure, and like I say, the change of everything with COVID, and I ended up getting onto some chat sites and chatting with people, and kind of like hookup type dating sites, but never actually hooked up with anyone. But at the time, I was also in a position of leadership with my church, and just everything started to really weigh on me, and finally came to the point where I couldn't lead the double life anymore, I guess. And so I came clean with my wife. I mean, we had D-Day in the past before, so it wasn't like she didn't know, but we had it all over again, I guess, which happens. But and basically came clean with her, told her everything that had been going on, went and met with ecclesiastical leader, and then actually started doing some therapy at your place, Tyler. And then the therapist that I was meeting with left, and so I kind of have dropped that and haven't picked it up again. But basically, so I guess in a nutshell, I've been through this process several times, where it's basically like the confession and talking with the ecclesiastical leaders, and it's kind of ironic. My wife laughs about it, because every time I go to an ecclesiastical leader, it's like within the next month or two, they get released and changed, and it's somebody new. And so then it makes it hard to continue the process there. But anyway, I guess what it comes down to is, so now my wife, she's kind of frustrated sometimes, because she feels like whenever she gets reminded of things, like she's like, I just don't know, like, that anything is changing. Like, it feels like we go through this process, and you're on this good high for a while, and you stay with things for a while, and then after a while, like, the church leader gets changed or whatever, or something, like, yeah, what happened with the therapist, and now you're just out there and not necessarily really doing recovery. And I kind of agree with her up to the last couple of months. And like I say, I started listening to your podcast the last couple of months. And I guess I think my mindset is totally different now than it was a few months ago. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily in full on recovery per se, but I started reading The Mindset by Carol Dweck, some things like that. But I guess what it comes down to is I want to make sure that I'm doing recovery for the right reasons, like that I'm not just doing it because I want to make my wife happy or make her think that I'm doing recovery. And I feel like in the past, that's what it's been, is like, I need to do this just so that she feels like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'm checking the boxes, and so that everybody around me thinks that I'm doing the right things. And actually a while ago, we had a conversation. This probably was like about a month and a half ago, we had a conversation, and I said, in all honesty, I don't know that I'm ready to give this up. just to be totally honest with you. And I was like, I think I can come to that point, but I don't know that I'm there yet. And since I've been listening to the podcast and kind of getting more information about where I'm at and feeling more where I'm at, like, I think I'm getting to that point where I'm like, yeah, I do know I don't want this to be a part of who I am. I would like to be in active recovery, but I want to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Brad, why do you act out? What does it do for you?
I think it's an escape. I mean, at this point, I honestly, like, looking at when I act out and the times that it happens, I think it's an escape from reality. It's that I need to get out of this world for a minute.
If a kind of a different way of asking that question, if we said today that today is the last day you could ever have your addiction, what would be the emotions that would come up and what would be the fears and worries?
Well, so again, I think I would have answered that question maybe a little differently. Like a month or two ago, I think I would have said, like, I don't know how I'm going to cope. I don't know how I'm going to, I mean, I would have had that anxiety of, you're taking away.
Coping with what?
My tool to cope with stress, to cope with challenges, just anxiety, fear, I guess. That's where I would have gone then. I think today, I don't know. I think there would be some of that apprehension, but maybe not as much now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Look, I want to go even a little deeper here, Brad. And
okay.
I would wonder, and you don't have to answer this, but I would wonder how you act out, what type of acting out it is. Because my question is what does it do for you beyond just is helping you escape? It helps you escape into maybe feeling powerful or feeling loved or feeling
relaxed,
that you can please somebody, or that you're wanted. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what does it do for you?
I think it's a little bit of the feeling wanted or loved, and also just feeling in control, like feeling the power, or like I have control of the situation in that moment.
So therein lies an answer to some of the deepest recovery work. Because what you just said is, I don't feel wanted, and I don't feel like I can handle being out of control. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
And so there's some kind of trauma, there's some kind of experience in your life that you've experienced those things, and you realize that's overwhelming to me, and I found this easy way to fix that. So rather than sitting in that and learning how to handle that, I'm gonna go do this because I get that feeling, right?
Yeah, right.
And so that's part of the work to be done.
That's the gap there that needs to be filled, and we're getting to it pretty quickly right now, but here's these basic needs now that you're identifying, Brad, where it's like, okay, I want to feel loved and important, and I also want to feel like I'm in control. And I found the perfect thing that has allowed me to do that over the years. It's no wonder that a part of you doesn't want to give that up. It also comes with such a cost that it leads to you saying things like, I couldn't live with myself anymore, so I had to come clean. And so there's this gap that now starts to need to be filled. That's not just giving up the addiction, but addressing those needs that Brannon helped you identify in a way that will allow you to grow into confidence of knowing you can cope with pain, that you can let go of control and know that you're going to be okay, developing skills and tools to be able to live that way. And growing into that is going to be as much of your recovery work as it is stopping the bad behavior. Right.
Sure.
Brad, what is recovery?
Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, well,
or
yeah,
what,
like,
what would I define it as?
Define it, yeah. Or what, and you can say what it looks like too, but what is recovery?
I don't know. So at one point I would have said that recovery is sobriety, but then after listening to the podcast, like I know that's not the case. But I guess for me, recovery is getting to that place where I no longer feel like I need that addiction. I know
sounds like sobriety to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let me shift the question just a little bit. Maybe this will help you. What are you recovering?
I guess what I would say I'm recovering is probably just the emotional connection, the loss of connection, like those family connections, the relationships.
Okay, why do you lose those connections? I know I'm getting annoying, but
you are annoying.
I'm digging here with you a little bit.
I think it's just I don't know why. I would say the loss of those connections comes with the dishonesty and the hiding, the shame.
But why? Brad, I'm doing the therapist thing where it's better for you to come to your own answer than give it to you. Tyler's not giving it to you either, right?
I'm ready to, Brannon. I just can't get it into
discomfort here, Tyler. But why the dishonesty? Why the disconnect? Why the breakdown in relationship? What have you lost? What are you trying to recover?
I don't know. I guess that feeling of being loved is part of it.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting closer.
Trying to recover the trust.
Brad, who are you as a man? Who are you?
I don't know. That's a hard question for me.
Sorry, Brad, you got more than you bargained for today. Brandon's
I know.
He is not acting like Bob Ross right now.
This is not as peaceful as those happy trees I was thinking about. No, I don't know. Who am I? Just an average guy. I don't know.
So do you? Tyler, go ahead.
I was going to say that's where Brandon's going. That's the problem here. Your question about am I in wholehearted recovery, or am I in sobriety directed recovery, or whatever else? And we ask who you are. I was just going to say maybe there's two other words that go along with recovery when you look at it being authentic and whole that start with R. One of them is reclamation, and the other one is redemption. And most people are in your shoes, Brad. When we talk to people and we ask the same question, who are you? They'll at best give what you just said. Or they'll go, oh, I'm just an idiot, or I'm a failure, or I'm weak, or I'm inadequate.
But Tyler too, I want to ask you, Tyler, like when I asked him that, what was his energy? Like,
dude, I wish you could see through the screen right now, because it's like everything like folded in on itself, like your head
squirming into laughing,
your eyes
uncomfortable,
your eyes dropped, your body's closing in. It's like, I'm going to ask you right now, sit up straight. Like, yeah, like sit up straight, man. Like, like who are you? That's what recovery is. It's the uncovering, it's the unearthing of your actual authentic identity, a congruent life with your values of really who God says that you are. And it's just like in The Lion King when Simba takes off and hangs out with Pumbaa and Timon because he doesn't want to actually own the truth of who he is. And finally Rafiki smacks him over the head and like makes him look in the pool. And what does he see? He sees a reflection of himself, but it's actually his father. And his father's saying, hey, you've forgotten me. And that's what recovery is. Recovery is the redemption, the reclamation of your identity.
Right. But Tyler, here's the thing. And Brad, I want you to hear this. I love The Lion King. I love it because it's that story of recovery. You know, I like to call it you're recovering your heart. And that's everything that Tyler just said. And what that means is that you get to see and feel and understand who you are to God. And Tyler can Rafiki slap you today, or I can, like, wapa, you're right.
It's in the past.
The problem is this lack of understanding and knowledge of who you are has been slowly and methodically embedded inside of you from the adversary for a long, long time. And so as much as we say, Brad, like you're way more powerful, you are loved, you are a son of God, like we can tell you all those things. And in your head, you'll say, yeah, I know that. But in your heart, you don't feel that because what you've been doing for years is beating yourself up as a failure. I came home early from my mission. I've been acting out. I've been deceiving my wife. My sexuality means that I'm shameful and I'm not okay. I need to please my wife in order to be man enough and in order to be okay. That's the reality that you've been living in. And so you've set up all kinds of systems in that reality to reinforce that reality over and over again. And no matter how hard Tyler Rafiki slaps you today, it's probably not gonna get the job done to really shift the way you're resonating. But we can tell you what will get the job done to help you shift into recovering your heart, understanding who you are. Okay. But do you see the problem now? Okay, you're focused over here. Yeah. On looking at the wrong thing when what's underneath really needs to be addressed. Right.
Well, I think you're right, Brown, because I think so many times, like you go to that ecclesiastical leader or to, even my wife, like, and that's the part that they focus on because that's the only part they know how to deal with.
The sobriety.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the part you've been focused on for a long time too, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so as long as you're shooting at the wrong target, then you'll never actually hit the target that you need to in order to resolve the issues here and to really find true recovery.
Listen to the rules of the game right now that you're playing. I don't know who I am. I don't have confidence in who I am. I don't feel loved or appreciated or known. So I'm going to go act out, and now I'm going to try, and acting out gives me a sense of that and it fills the void. But now I need to take that away, but I have no other way to manage all those feelings that I've got. Like who's going to win that game? Like, no wonder you haven't wanted to give it up lately. Like, but if I can go to work, no, it's okay to focus on maybe wanting to stop that behavior. But that to me is the peripheral, when in reality, it's like, man, what are we going to do to like start accessing the best part of yourself, your heart, your connection to God, like your emotional, like intelligence, like anything that we can do to move that direction it's gonna pay way bigger dividends towards your sobriety than just your sobriety alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have kids?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
We have 3.
You have 3?
Yeah.
When they were born and you first walked up to them and looked them in the eye, think of just like one of your kids when they were born and you first looked at them. What did you see? What did you feel?
Just such love. I mean, here's this innocent, pure little soul that, helpless and we're just, I don't know, just so just so much love, I guess.
Yeah. Was that ever you in the eyes of God? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel what you're saying.
15 years from now, when your son has a porn problem, are you going to see him the same way?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
When my kids were born and I looked at them, I could feel the same things that you describe. I could just feel how eternal their souls are, and how powerful and just open and loving and beautiful they are, right? And so, that hasn't changed inside of you, Brad. That's in there. But you've now had all these life experiences, and all these messages that have said, no, that's not who you are. That's not who you are. You're not okay as you are. And and maybe we can start to shift into kind of the work here a little bit of what to do moving forward, because it's kind of like a catch-22 a little bit. I was listening to our episode with Colin this morning, Tyler, and I think Colin outlined really well just the day in, day out inputs and work, right? But when he did it, he shifted from doing it for his wife, doing it for a bishop, and he just started like putting in systems into his life of reading, writing, going to meetings, making phone calls, just like basic recovery work, right? Whether the bishop gets released or not, whatever, he had consistent things inputs that he would follow through with and just do. And some days he didn't want to go to his meetings. Some days he didn't want to make a phone call, but he did it anyways. And the reason he did it anyways was just to get in the habit and to know that that's always there for him. Okay. So that's all that works awesome. That makes a big difference, right, Tyler?
Yeah, of course. Those things, any of those inputs that become good habits will be helpful, but they're helpful for a different reason than people think they are. Because, it's like, if I journal, then I won't touch my penis. No, that's not how it works.
God's going to bless me.
Then my desires will be all gone. It's like, no, I'm putting in good inputs, and every one of those inputs is geared towards the cultivation of my heart, the cultivation of my life, the way that I want to live my life, the way that God wants me to live my life. And if I'm doing those little inputs, then I'm moving towards this reinforcement of myself. And that's what's going to then build the confidence and the understanding and fill some of those gaps.
What Tyler's saying right now is so important, Brad. I gotta drive this home. If I'm doing them because I know I'm a good father, because I know I have purpose with God, because I know that God needs me and God loves me, bam, like I'm going to actually follow through. If I'm doing them because I have to do them to show somebody that I'm good, or I'm doing it because I don't want to be a bad boy and I don't want to mess up, and so then it's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And it sometimes starts there, but that's why what Colin was saying about the day-to-day habit building, it starts to shift over time once it becomes habit. And once you start to reinforce those things in yourself, and then you go from this fearful place or performance-based place deeper into a place of like, wow, I like who I'm becoming, and I like who I am. And then it starts to get replaced with confidence.
Mm-hmm. So that's where it starts, right, Tyler? Like you have to almost just like, whether you believe that you're loved, Brad, or not, just try to think that it could be true. And because it could be true, then I want to take care of myself. I want to love myself. So I'm going to have these dailies. I'm going to believe that I'm okay. Okay. So you just start there. So that's, and it actually, and Tyler, tell me if I'm wrong, we talk about addressing the root of things like the trauma work. And, a lot of the work Tyler and I do at our retreats and in our therapy offices is about that deepest work. But I got to say, these dailies and this structure actually does some trauma work, because it makes you start to believe that I can succeed. I normally just fail and I think that I can never follow through. And all of a sudden I'm starting to believe something different about myself than what everything else has told me about me. Okay. So it starts the trauma work because you're actually starting to shift some beliefs about yourself by staying steady with that. Okay. And staying steady means when you don't do it, that the next day you pick yourself up, forgive yourself and do it. Right. So steady is not being perfect. It's not never making mistakes, but it's, I'm going to come back again and again and again and instill these things into my life. So that's kind of where it starts, right?
Yeah.
Tyler, then what?
Then it's getting into that deeper kind of heart work, and there's lots of ways to do that. I think experience. Brannon and I are big believers in an emotional shift happening through experience more than it does through a conversation. And we try to do that in our retreats. I think Brannon and I both do that in our treatment, like in our group programs, where the goal is to have more of an emotional experience and connection than it is just a rational discussion most times. And there's certain tasks and assignments that we give that are geared towards the heart work. And then the other thing that I think is extremely important is this emotionally corrective experience where we carry around our biggest insecurities and think that anyone who sees those won't love us. And the truth is that when we expose those insecurities to the right people in the right ways, we're met with love and understanding and compassion, and it fractures all of our false beliefs that we've been carrying around. It's like,
but it takes a step through some fear.
It's scary. Like it takes, like I have a guy who showed up to group last week and he shared an assignment that we call, the image of your addicted self. And it's really not about the acting out. It's about all the other things, the hiding and the lying and the deception. But it's about getting to know that part of you and why you did all those things. And then he came and he shared it with his group. And of course he's vulnerable and he's scared and he's worried about what all the other guys are thinking. And he thinks he's coming to group to basically be strung up and be like, oh my gosh, that guy's a crazy weirdo. And instead what he got was like 4 guys hugging him and 2 guys crying with him. And, it's like, what's the shift that just happened to him as he walks out the door that night? It's, oh my gosh, I'm lovable. I just shared something hard and people loved me as a result.
But Tyler, I want to point something out because that's the powerful type of experiences that you need to start to shift these narratives. In order for that guy to have that experience, Brad, he didn't need to do anything other than show up and step into truth and honesty. And then, but what he had to do was to let go and let God. He had to practice some faith. He didn't know on the other end of that his brothers were going to be hugging him.
Right.
He probably, part of him thought that he'd be laughed out of the building.
He might have been his last night.
Crazy. Yeah. But he still laid it out there. He surrendered to God and said, look, I'm going to step into truth and allow you to love me. And he experienced God's love through those men who loved him. Yeah. Right. And in that moment, there was a part of him that said, oh my gosh, I've told myself I'm so disgusting that I'm not lovable. I'm experiencing something very different right now. And I like this, and it's uncomfortable, but I like it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's powerful. Right.
Yeah.
And to go along with what you're saying, Brannon, it took several choices to get there, where he had to choose to put himself in the situation of being vulnerable by joining that group. He had to choose to be vulnerable by doing the assignment. He had to choose by showing up to group with that assignment and saying, hey guys, I need to share. Like, he had to choose some really courageous things in order to get there. And most guys who are doing stuff just to kind of like appease somebody else, they won't make those hard choices in the moment, because that's the pinch point of fear, where it's like, well, I'm afraid of my wife, but I'm also afraid of this assignment. But the guy who's like saying, no, I'm in the process of a full soul reclamation here. I can choose my pain now. I can choose the pain of being afraid of my wife, or I can choose the pain of stepping through this. And they're willing it takes willingness to step into and through that dark place, that scary place. That's what Brannon's, I think, trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know what's fascinating, Tyler, is when guys are in this process and then they start to bail. So it's like, well, that therapist doesn't know what he's talking about anyway, so I'm not going to go to that group. Or you know what? I'm gonna relapse right now to sabotage this because this is getting too real for me. Like this is, so now we can talk about my relapse over here and this, because now I'm getting down to some of my deepest fears here.
Yeah.
So they use relapse. Or my wife, she started a fight and she's such a jerk. So like, it'll never get better with her anyways. So why'd go do this hard work? I'm not doing therapy anymore. So like, there's all kinds of ways to get out of stepping through that fear because it's so scary, Brad. So,
right.
When you say, I don't know who I am as a man, I don't know if I'm lovable. Some of the things that you can do are to look at that and say, okay, how do I act unlovable? How do I act unsure as a man? And let me ask you that, Brad.
How do I act unlovable or unsure?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Probably a trick question, I guess.
Do you, Brad?
He's doing it right now, Tyler.
I know exactly. He's diminishing himself. I'm wondering, Brad, you're the kind of guy who's probably a really, really nice guy. Do you diminish your needs below everybody else's?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's one way of acting unlovable.
Yeah. That laugh that you have, I like your laugh.
Yeah.
I love it too.
But Tyler, we both know what that laugh is.
It's the, oh no, I'm really vulnerable right now.
Yeah, this is uncomfortable. So I invite you to take a look at that and try to practice opposite action. No, I mean, not just like really, like maybe not laugh and be serious when it's serious.
Right.
Maybe step into asking for your needs to be met because you always give yourself away. Maybe instead of acting unsure about an answer, give it boldly and be like, I think this is what it is. I could be wrong, but I absolutely think this is the answer. Boss, Tyler, Brannon, I think this is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
The opposite action to the shame that's telling you that you're small, that you're not good enough, that you're not lovable, because that's not true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not true. Right now, you don't have a therapy group right now?
No. I've been to some of the church sponsored 12-step groups in the past, and it wasn't the best experience for me. I mean, it wasn't what you described as your group experiences. So yeah, it has made me a little bit gun shy, I guess.
I got to tell you this story. So yesterday at church, this guy got up who I know really well, and he said, I'm going to make you squirm in your seats a little bit, you guys. This will be uncomfortable, but I'm going to talk to you about my process of recovery from porn addiction. And he went on and talked about this beautiful story of reclaiming his heart, redemption. And he spoke so confidently and honestly and openly. Nobody was uncomfortable in that room. Everybody had compassion for him and just felt this beautiful power of God's love, because it was one of the best talks that we've had in church in a long time, because he was so vulnerable, authentic, honest. That was not him 5-6 years ago. It was not him. So how can he stand up in front of everybody, all of his neighbors, all of everybody, and be like, this is me, and do it in a way where everybody's like, wow, he's confident and he loves himself.
Yeah.
Because time and time again, he's stepped into the cave.
Yeah.
He's faced the beast. He's dealt with the fear, and he knows that fear can't kill him. He knows God is behind him. God's on his side, because he stepped in there again and again and again. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's your work, Brad, and it's going to be unique for you.
Yeah. So how do I identify, like, or how do I get to, like, how do I know what steps I need to take? I mean, obviously, I guess I need to get into a group. I need to get into a therapist. That's good.
Don't get into a group if you're doing it for your wife or you're doing it because you should. Get into a group because your heart, you feel like it's something good for you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe another way to like look at this would be to ask the question, when you wake up in the morning, what would somebody who loved themselves and was confident do with their life today? And you'll get some answers, and then that will be some of your first steps. They step in with difficult things. Chase, our business partner, he's got a deadline. He wants, one of his biggest fears is to do stand-up comedy, and he's got till the end of the year. So he's got like 4 more weeks before he has to get that thing done. And I know he's holding out till the end of the year because that's going to be a scary thing to go stand on the stage and maybe fall flat, but he's the kind of guy who made a list of things that he's afraid of, and he's systematically checking those off, stepping into and through those things. That's someone who lives with confidence and wholeheartedness. That's what they do. For him, now you get to ask yourself that question. Like, what does someone who's living wholeheartedly do? How would they live their life today? They'd show up.
But Tyler, when you talk about Chase, it's not just like, go just make myself uncomfortable. Like, he believes God has made him to stand up on a stage and make people laugh.
Yes.
And the threshold he has to step through to get there is facing the fear of being laughed off the stage.
He needs to go fail probably several times before it comes to fruition, but he absolutely has the goods to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, you don't have to go do that per se, but that's the question is like, as you start asking the question, who am I to God? I believe God's going to give you specific answers. He'll give you the general ones, like, you are my son, but he'll give you specific ones. Like, he's told me that I'm a warrior and I'm a guide and I'm a teacher. He's told Brannon that Brannon's a magpie, and Brannon can explain that. But he'll tell you specifically. And then when he tells you, you take action towards that thing, even if it's scary. Now, with that said, it helps to have a few things in place. You're going to have those habits that you're trying to form for the sake of your own heart, not because you're supposed to. You're going to have the humility to build in a team for yourself. And that's where the possibility of a group or a therapist, it doesn't matter where you get it. It matters that you get empathy and accountability, so that you get this structure that helps you kind of like, it's like scaffolding that holds you in place towards the places you want to go. Mm-hmm. And then you start to build those things in. Then of course there's going to be some deep digging into yourself to start on kind of peeling back the layers of all these false beliefs you've been living with for so long that lead you to play small. And that team's going to help with that as well.
Tyler, to back up a little bit, and Brad, we're running out of time, so we're just trying to like get stuff in here.
Yeah.
I think that you're unconscious some about how you continue to create the systems that feed the shame, right? And so instead of fighting against those things, it would be really good for you to reflect and say, what do I do? In what ways do I show up that absolutely show me that I'm not lovable, that I'm not confident, that I don't know who I am? In what ways do I do that? And for you to take an inventory of that and really look at everything that you're doing there. And some things you won't want to write down, because you'll be like, if I write that down, then I'm conscious of it, then I have to be accountable to actually deal with it. So before you dive in deep to like creating these vulnerable support systems and standing up in front of a group, and you need to get very conscious and aware of what you are doing and what you are believing. What are my faulty core beliefs? What are my identities that I really believe? And if you'll know, you'll find one if you say like, I'm lovable, and Tyler or I or you in the mirror says, you say I'm unlovable, and we say you're lovable, and it's really uncomfortable. You squirm or you give us that laugh. It's like, oh, okay, we're nailing one of those faulty core beliefs. Okay, so then the next step is to look at how do I respond completely opposite to that faulty core belief. And here's an example. Like I've been very unboundaried with my boss, and I'll do anything he tells me. Okay. Now I'm going to show up honest with my boss and have some boundaries. Right. I've omitted a lot with my wife, and I haven't had boundaries with her. And I've over disclosed and tried to tell her everything in order to be okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show up confident. I'm going to have boundaries with her, and I'm going to be honest and open with her. Okay. So these are just some examples.
Right? I just listened to Brannon and Tyler talk at me for an hour, and I don't agree with everything they say, but I'm too afraid to say something. Maybe I'll say something, something like that. That's where Brandon's going. I think it's a good point. So I want to just maybe ask a couple more questions, and then I know we're out of time. First question is, Brad, how are you feeling right now? I mean, you've been raked over the coals more by Brannon than by me, but by both of us.
By Bob.
Yeah.
I think just the anxiety right now of being vulnerable, of putting myself out there. I mean, if I'm honest, I know that's why I haven't taken the next step in the recovery process, like because of fear of being vulnerable and putting myself out there.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that's just to articulate that in and of itself is vulnerable. Like you just basically outed yourself and said, "Oh, I know now one of the reasons why I'm not stepping forward."
Boom. You just did it, Brad.
Yeah. That's perfect. So second thing here is to go back to kind of what we were saying is that all of the principles we talked about are more important than the modalities, but the modalities can help with the principles. And it sounds like I have some repair work to do with you, because you came to me and then our therapist that we sent you to left. And so you were left high and dry. So what I would like to suggest, and this is something for all of our listeners, is you guys have heard a little bit about groups today. Brannon and I both run groups, and we both operate in very similar ways with the principles we talk about. So if you're interested in a group, you can find Brannon at where do you want them to find you, Brannon?
BrannonPatrick.com.
BrannonPatrick.com. You can find me at lovestrong.com. But for you, Brad, what I'd like to do is I'd like to offer you a spot in one of my groups for 3 months at no charge, just to kind of come and let me do the repair work of having left you high and dry. And then you can decide in 3 months if it's going to be the right fit for you. I'm pretty convinced you won't want to leave. And you just have to make the choice to show up. So that's up to you. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, Tyler just put it out there on a silver platter for you, Brad. So, here's the thing, and this will drive your shame home even further. So brace yourself. God needs you. So your battle for your heart goes beyond just like got to get in recovery so that one, just so you don't stop touching your penis, but two, because my wife wants me to, or like you have a very specific, important purpose for God. And Satan wants you to flounder out here, wondering who you are, in doubt, hiding behind a fig leaf. Like, who the heck am I? God needs you. You know what? When you're laying on your deathbed, if you can look back, Brad, and say, you know what? I might have made some mistakes or whatever, but I went for it. Like I was vulnerable. I spent the good portion of the first half of my life hiding, but I went for it. Yeah. And I hope that you're laying there with no regrets. And I can guarantee you that if you do go for it, being vulnerable, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure out what your purpose is, why God needs you. And a side note, your wife will probably want you a lot more. So,
absolutely.
But that's not the reason why.
That's the best way you could help your wife.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not every day you get a pep talk from Bob Ross, Brad. So I hope you realize how lucky you are. Brad, I wanted to just say thank you for coming on. And,
thank you.
You did show up today, and even just today was probably a big step in the right direction for your own personal recovery. And We will be in touch with you. For those of you guys listening, if this hits a nerve for you or for someone that you love, share it with them. It's the way that we get a chance to have an impact on the world ourselves. So thank you guys for listening. Hopefully it's helpful. You guys have an awesome day.
See you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.